fellow Toastmasters and guests.
Good morning.
A Toastmaster meeting has 3 parts: project speeches, table topics, and evaluation. I will handle the project speeches part of today's meetings. Our project speaker get the project assignment from the Competent Communication Manual or one of the Advanced Communication Manual. And the project speakers prepare their speeches according to the project assignments. The second part of the meeting is the table topics, which are brief impromptu speeches that require no preparation. The topic master will explain more about that later. The third and final part of the meeting is the evaluation portion. Later in the meeting, the general evaluator will explain the evaluation section of the meeting. My role as a Toastmaster is to move the meeting along quickly and smoothly. I will introduce each speaker by announcing the manual, speech project number, the project objective, timing of the speech title, and the speaker's name. Our meeting timer will post green, yellow, and red time card at different times during a speaker's speech. If a speaker exceeds the red card by 45 seconds, the timer will stand and clap. Our first project speech is from the Competent Communication Manual, project number 6. And the project title is project objective is vocal variety, and the timing of the speech is 5 to 7 minutes. And the speech title is "Don't Try This at Home." And now please welcome Yao Cheng-Hu.
Morning.
Morning. Good morning.
So, whatever I'm going to say, please, 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 don't try this at home. For those who don't know me, I have a brief introduction myself. My name is Yao Cheng-Hu. I'm from Taiwan. I served as a ranger for 2 years in Taiwan's army. And in Taiwan, military service are mandatory. And for you might already know, every time you make something mandatory, it would become insufferable. So for me to join the army with very little pay, with very little salary, and it is mandatory service, is for you to serve the country. I have to create my own incentive to be motivated myself, and to help me to get the job done. And the way I see it is, I get to do a lot of things that you can never do at home, right? You can pull a CS grenade at your home. You can fire You can fire guns at home. You can do a lot of things that you can't do as a civilian. Of course, you can jump off a plane. And but it is very interesting to me that how do these military guys or some monsters train people to do what they do, right? It is insufferable, and sometimes you will wish you were dead. But they did a very good job to make you sure you didn't get hurt during the process. But how do they do it? For my observation, my answer is a trickery called exposure therapy. Exposure therapy is like putting you to a situation that you would think you were scared to hell, and to make sure to force you to stay in that situation, and it would slowly become sufferable. So I will give 2 examples today that how they get this done. One thing is, when I was at a boot camp, I think it was the last week of the boot camp. One morning, they were scheduled as chemical warfare training. And there's no physical training in the morning, which is abnormal. And we all figured, how could this be? How could this training be? How could this turn out, right? And when we're called into our living quarters, and the sergeants just came in and said, "All right, boys, today we're giving your first chemical warfare training." And I still remember the smile develop on his face. I was thinking something horrible would happen. So, and then he said, "Okay, bring your mask and all your equipment to your living." We have a section that is called our that is our main living quarters, just like as big as this room. It's a classroom, and all the windows were shut down, and the doors were all closed, and we don't know what's going on in there because we were outside. We were asked to line up in the room, and they start to give us instructions. So we will fire some CS grenade, which is for those who don't know, which is tear gas basically, which makes you cry like a baby. And and fortunately we have our mask, right? We would thought we would have to put our mask on and went in there, right? Of course not. That's why it's smelling. It asks us to just get inside and start doing push-ups. And you have to do a textbook push-up. So they were yelling at you. It was very uncomfortable. They were yelling at you in front of your ears and with strong language, of course. And you would start doing push-up. And every single one has to be very perfect. But it wasn't the push-up that hurts you, it's the gas. And once you get in, you start to feel it. It's like cutting onions in front of your eyeballs, and it's instantly your skin starts to burn and you start crying immediately. It's unconsciously crying. I don't know. It's and then they ask you to put your mask on. Oh, fortunately, I quickly finished the 10 push-up and put my mask on. And you would thought it is all over, right? Because it is not only you just suck in some tear gas. It also burns, the gas also burns your skins. Not very seriously, it just itches, and itches like hell. And yet we have to keep staying there, and then they start to asking you to sing songs, and while you're singing you have to do squats and all kind of stuff. Then I finally know why are they smiling. It was funny if you are not in it. And it is very important that they did this and make you suffer, because you would understand, they would force your body to understand that the importance to have your mask on once the threat of chemical weapons arrives. And the second exposure therapy is happened when I was in airborne training school. They force you to jump off 34 feet tower, and with your own will, which is very hard to do. First time I did it, I was being kicked by my instructor out of the tower. It was the simulation of the plane, and you have a ramp there, and you can put your hands down, and you have to look down to the ground, and you would think it's an easy process, but it is not. And they force you to jump one. You jump every time in the morning, and to jump every single time you get up there. And that was swap out. Some people are unqualified for that kind of training, because once you exposure for that kind of threat and terrifying moment, you are able to conquer those threats. you're on a plane. So that's my experience in my exposure therapy. And please don't try this when you're not in a proper instructor. Thanks.
Now please take 1 minute to evaluate Yao Chenghu's speech. Who has the meeting room sign-up sheet? Please pass them around. Thank you.